Hey, watch your mouth, woman! Watch your mouth, woman!
Trash talking is a fun and essential part of the competitive spirit of the NBA. Without it, there would be a lack of intensity and competitive fire shared between players and fans. Most of the time, the trash talking is done among the players themselves in order to create an edge out on the floor. But on occasion, trash talking filters into the crowd, with fans getting involved. Unfortunately, most of the time, the talking from fans goes beyond the game and gets personal. Fans think they can say whatever they want to multi-million-dollar athletes, but at the end of the day, they're human beings just like you and I. Throughout the history of the league, we have seen numerous instances of when trash talking from fans went too far, and NBA players reacted. Today, we're looking at 3 of those moments. At number 3, LeBron James and Chris Bosh famously became teammates in Miami, but just 3 seasons prior, James had an unlikely run-in with his family and girlfriend. In a 2008 regular season matchup against the Toronto Raptors, James and the Cleveland Cavaliers entered the contest with a losing record, looking to turn it around following their trip to the NBA Finals, in which they were swept by the San Antonio Spurs. In what turned out to be a regular season game that had greater importance than usual in the Eastern Conference standings, James started the game horribly and was just 6 for 19 from the field after 3 quarters. Down 19 entering the final period, the Cavs needed a spark to ignite their comeback, and it came from an unlikely source. Sitting courtside was Bosh's cousin and girlfriend at the time, who were trash-talking James all game long. He ignored it for the most part throughout the contest, but visibly had enough with 10 minutes and 43 seconds left in the 4th quarter. On an attack to the rim, James was fouled and went crashing to the floor in front of Bosh's girlfriend, who gave him one last earful that sent him over the edge. James got up with a look in his eye that could only mean one thing: whoever was in his way was about to be in trouble. The 4-time MVP then went on an offensive rampage, single-handedly bringing the Cavaliers back into the game. At this stage, James only had 17 points, but quickly activated beast mode, draining back-to-back threes before creating 2 consecutive three-pointers for teammate Damon Jones, swiftly generating 12 points and cutting the Raptors' lead to just 2. James became unstoppable, as every play from here on out, he scored and assisted on Cleveland's baskets. By the time the game was over, James scored or assisted on 11 of the Cavs' last 12 field goals, and scored 15 of his team's last 19 points to steamroll the Cavs to victory. To cap things off, James iced the game with 2 clutch free throws for the cherry on top of his offensive outburst. Following the game, he addressed the trash talking, stating, "The reason the Raptors lost tonight was because they ticked me off a little bit." By they, he meant Bosh's girlfriend. Coming in at number 2, the start of the 2017 NBA regular season saw the Oklahoma City Thunder visit the Philadelphia 76ers on the road. This was the first game star point guard Russel Westbrook was playing without running partner Kevin Durant, who left him high and dry to join rival Golden State Warriors in the offseason. As you can imagine, Westbrook was out to prove he could lead a team by himself, and put up 5 early shots in the first minutes of the opening period, going 2 for 5 and committing 2 turnovers in the process. As Westbrook was trying to show out, things quickly took a turn on his next drive to the basket. Westbrook exploded towards the rim and was fouled, flexing to the crowd after converting the bucket. To his surprise, a fan sitting courtside had a flex of his own and flipped off Westbrook with both his middle fingers while simultaneously yelling "F*** you" in his face. Luckily for this fan, Westbrook kept his cool after being fined $25,000 from the league office for an altercation with a fan in the previous playoffs. Instead, Westbrook proceeded to point to the fan with both hands in amazement and patiently waited for the officials to signal to security. The fan was immediately kicked out of the game, and this kick started Westbrook's engine as he put together a masterful performance to lift the Thunder to victory after being down 18-10 at the time. Westbrook finished the game with 32 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists, and refused to comment on the incident post-game to avoid being fined again. It was later confirmed Westbrook did in fact start the situation by telling the fan to "sit down, f***ing fat boy," prior to getting flipped off. Finally, at number 1, it was an unspoken rule in the NBA that you didn't trash talk Michael Jordan. But one Cleveland Cavaliers fan must not have known during a regular season game in 1996. A man by the name of Adam Contis snuck in a video camera into the contest and managed to capture one of the greatest trash-talking moments in NBA history. A fan sitting courtside was trash-talking MJ the entire first half, highlighting he only had 6 points and he wasn't worthy of the shoes he was wearing. It turned out to be a bad idea, as Jordan came out in the second half to destroy the Cavs. The beauty of this moment was the entire time Jordan pretended he didn't hear him. But after one tough jumper in the third quarter, MJ pointed directly at the courtside fan and started shouting at him. Needless to say, it was all Jordan needed to get going, as he completely took over the game and gave the Bulls a commanding lead. With the game all but put to bed, Jordan went to the bench in junk time and made sure he got the attention of the fan. He then proceeded to look him directly in the eyes and tell him to shush in a moment of pure savagery. It's safe to say the courtside fan quickly learned he chose the wrong man to try and trash talk. Trash talking is an underrated aspect of the competitive juices that flow through NBA players on a nightly basis. Players such as Golden State Warriors' Draymond Green and former Boston Celtics big man Kevin Garnett made it an art. But there are other players such as Los Angeles Lakers superstar LeBron James and former San Antonio Spurs power forward Tim Duncan who prefer to let their game do all the talking. In a lot of ways, the latter is more disrespectful, but there is nothing like a good bout of trash talking to light a fire under a superstar. Unfortunately, sometimes it comes from beyond the bench, which either means the fan is getting ejected or their team is about to lose because of it. What's your favorite trash-talking moment in NBA history? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for future videos.